Hi, welcome to the Just Dax podcast. I'm your host, Dax or Daxon, whatever you want to call me. And it's just going to be me for, however many episodes I plan on doing. I'm really just doing this to let myself express how I feel or just get things off my chest or really just recount what has happened in the past weeks or whenever I end up posting. So I'm really excited, but I haven't really thought about exactly what I was going to talk about today, but we can get right into it anyway. It's just now Tuesday. It's actually let me check, April 22nd, and April has been quite the month. I have my calendar up right in front of me, and we started off the month hot with April Fools. I was actually, let me tell you what happened on April Fools. Also, it is thundering and lightning and raining outside. If my power goes out, which it probably will, that's that's just what's gonna happen up in here. But let me get back to what on track. So started off April really, really hot with April Fool's Day. Now let me tell you, this year marks the worst April Fool's joke that has, or prank, whatever you want to call it, that I have received. Let me set the scene for you. I'm sitting in my Spanish 2 class, all right? It's just the worst thing out there because it's an access class, so I have to do my stuff, which means I have to do my stuff online. But we do have a teacher. She video calls us every Monday and she gives us daily updates. But it's just a struggle. I'm trying to learn a separate language, not known to me. I mean, it's Spanish, so it's a little bit more simple because English is like considered the hardest language to, learn. But I'm trying to learn a second language, and I'm not actually being taught by fluent speaker. I'm being taught by a computer. It's just difficult. Well, my teacher calls, and April Fool's lands on a Monday, so it's the perfect day. Or actually, it lands on a Tuesday this year. So she called in. She calls in, and she's like, "Put me on speaker." So my advisory teacher who watches us put her on speaker, and she was like, "I would like to make an example out of this student." Thinking, okay, she's gonna like say something good about this student. She's gonna like say they've been on task doing their job. She goes, "All right, Daxon," and I'm like, okay, I wonder what she's gonna say about me. Here are her words. "I'm gonna make an example out of you. You have been caught cheating on the past 5 assignments. This means you're gonna lose scholarship opportunities. You're gonna fail this class. You're gonna have to retake it." And I'm just sitting there like, hello? Because number one, and people can recall and recount for me, I do my work in that class and I do not cheat. I'm like one of the few people in there who actually try and do the little note guide she gives us. So I'm just kind of sitting there. My mouth is dropped open, like straight dropped open. I'm just like, and everybody else is starting to stare at me because they're like, him? Like, no, I'm not the best student out there, but I can tell you I'm definitely better than some of the most or whatever. My mouth is dropped open. Everybody's staring at me, and she just keeps going on. She is just talking about how all these scholarships I'm going to lose, how I'm going to fail the class, how I'm going to have to not walk at graduation. And at that point, I was like, oh my gosh, my soul entered my body because it had left me for a second there. I was like, it's April Fool's. And by the time I realized it was April Fool's, she was still going on. I tell you, she was naming stuff for over 3 minutes. And I was like, okay, now it's starting just to hurt my ego a little bit. What do you mean I'm going to lose all this stuff when I fake cheated in your class? Whatever. So she says April Fool's, and I was like, and at that point, kind of got mean. Everybody was like, I feel bad for you. At least they felt bad for me. I'm kidding. I like to be the center of attention. Anyway, so that was my April Fool's. It was literally horrible, like the most horrifying experience in class I've ever felt, and I do not wish that upon any of you. If you are in that situation, I'm sorry. but I'm by your side and I'm holding your hand through this camera because I was terrified. But that was April Fool's for me, and I just cannot go, just recalling the memory. Lord have mercy. So then, that was April 1st, which was on a Tuesday. And that next week, 2 days after, I went and saw Megan Maroney in concert, or Megan Maroney, however you want to say her name. But I call her, like, whatever I feel in the moment. If you're not familiar with her, she is a country artist, artist/singer, whatever you want to call her. And she is just precious. She is darling. Her aesthetic is blue right now, so it's kind of like the blue stuff and all of that. Her previous aesthetic for her Lucky album was green, and you can't really tell right now. I don't have like that much stuff around me, but my favorite color is green, and on the other side, my bedding's green. Green and white, my two favorite colors. But this time, it was blue, and it's like this darker blue. It's really pretty. It's like a deep blue, but like a vibrant deep blue. And I put my little cowboy boots on, put my hat on. Well, I made a hat. And I went with my girls, Bella, Casey, and Peyton. Those are some of my besties right out there. And we all went and saw her in concert. Now, Megan Maroney is kind of monumental for us, you see. We kind of all discovered her together around the same time. And we started hanging out more, like the four of us all together during when we learned about her or whatever. And our relationships just kind of grew with Megan Maroney and her music. And all the songs are like about breakups, or about, a lot of her songs are breakup songs, but she has ones about like her friends, her girls, and just enjoying life in little like quirky songs. They're not really quirky, but they're like funny, quirky songs about a situation. And her lyrics are so relatable in a friend group style. And our friend group really related to all those. And so we end up all buying tickets one night. We all tried to get in pre-sale first. Let me tell you, pre-sale was the worst experience I've ever experienced. And she's a big artist, but she's not the biggest. And the fact that those things sold out in 2 minutes, less, and we got in there, we were like, okay, we're going to buy. Nope. Gone. Every seat sold. So we ended up buying them on resale, about $200 a piece. And we went to the Orion Amphitheater. It's in Huntsville, Alabama. And it was just one of the best experiences of my 2025, which, not saying much because it's just the beginning, but I have a lineup coming. I got Megan Maroney online, Tate McRae's coming up, and also Sabrina Carpenter. And when I tell you I bought them for $600. Sabrina Carpenter, $600 for 2. That is just depressing. Like, my pockets were hurting. My bank account almost reached the negatives, but I set it up to where it won't reach the negatives because I know myself. If I had a non-limit debit card where I would have to pay back money, baby, I'm going in the negatives, in debt, and you will not see me because I'll be fleeing from this country, because that money will not find its way back into that bank's pockets. I'll tell you that. So if I go missing one day, you might want to go check Europe or something. But, Megan Maroney, love her. We had the best time. It really just was the climax of me and my friends' friendships. Like, it just really fulfilled our dream. And I can finally say, I was 16. I got to see Megan Maroney with my best friends at 16. Like, that is just insane to me. And we had the best time. Now, after Megan Maroney, which is insane because all this stuff is happening the first week of April. Had April Fool's, which like literally ruined my day because I got depressed. Had Megan Maroney 2 days later on, 2 days later on that Thursday, I believe. And then the next day I graduated from this program that I'm in. And I got like a little certificate pin for it. It's going to look really good on the resume. And I had a good time doing it as well. And then the 5th, which was that Saturday of that week, was prom. Now, prom is very controversial in my books. Personally, just because I had to plan it. And you're like, Daxon, how did you get yourself into this situation? Let me tell you. My little dandy self up in 10th grade decided I wanted to run for a class officer. Now, in my school, you have 5 class officers per grade. You have like the lower ones, which they're not really lower. You're supposed to be all on an equal field, but it depends on the amount of votes you get. So you have president, vice president, secretary, and then these 2 other positions I'm not remembering. So you end up having 5, like, quote, representatives for your grade. And I decided to run my 10th grade year, not my 9th grade. I just kind of was like, you know what? We're going to figure high school out. Well, I run 10th grade year, expecting nothing. Why did I get voted for class president? Y'all. Class president? Like, I'm the main representative for my class. Like, okay, I knew people. I'm friendly, I'm nice to people, but I didn't think they would vote me for, like, straight up class president. So I was quite shocked when I got that. But that came with a lot of responsibilities, one of those being homecoming. I had to plan our homecoming activities, and each grade has a homecoming float, which is like the big like spectacle for homecoming. We have the homecoming parade. Each grade's float, goes down the parade. There's people on it, there's people to the sides, and it's this competition where who has the best float, who had the best what looked the best on it, who presented their float the best, and just like, does it look just good in general? And there's themes with them too, so you get to make your own theme up, but you have to make a slogan for the team you're going up against, or you can just make a slogan in general. So freshman year I decided, let's do Waffle House, which personally in my books, I keep saying in my books, I don't know even what that means. Let me just say personally was quite creative. When I tell you the floats beforehand, like centuries, I'm kidding, like years before, they're like your basic Disney or your basic like ship or Mardi Gras. Waffle House was something different, and the execution was just perfect. So some of the other classes, the other 3 classes, the freshmen, the juniors at the time, and the seniors, they kind of had some generic floats. They had like Toy Story, all that. But when you see us rolling down the road on a big sign that says Viking House, it says Viking House because that's like our mascot instead of Waffle House. Big yellow sign, Viking House. When you look down, it's got this kitchen area, all this stuff. It is a spectacle, and it's something different. And us being on the float, we kind of played parts. So we played different parts. I was the cook, so I was like scrambling the eggs and being like, I got order for 92, scrambled, smothered, throwing them in the basket, whatever. And I got customers. We all wanted to play different parts. So I made people be customers screaming at us like, where's my food? Give me a refill. And then I had like an older couple and stuff. It was just the cutest. I can't get enough of it. And we ended up winning the float. And that was a very successful 10th grade year. Now, I don't know why I decided to bring this upon myself again, because it is quite stressful when you are president of a class. But I brought myself to running again 11th grade year, which is currently me right now. And I got president again. And I was like, okay, I'm a little bit more prepared this time. I know kind of what I'm doing. Let's hop into it. So we ended up doing Buc-ee's this year, which is also something different. So our float was Buc-ee's, and our slogan was Next Exit Victory, 26 miles, because class of 2026. And it went up the Waffle House float like times 10. It was amazing. It looked brilliant, personally, But we have to make all this stuff. We make the floats. We design everything. And being the president, I'm kind of over all that. And then I just give people what they need to do Some people do it, some people don't. And you just hope for the best. So we end up winning again this year, Buc-ee's. It was beautiful. Now, let me get back to what I was talking about. I was talking about prom. So prom ended up being that Saturday, first week of April, which is just very full of events, girl. It's currently the 22nd of April, but that first week still got me quite rattled up. So we get... Oh, I just blanked out like big time. Okay. When you're in the 11th grade, you, as the student council, so being me, president, are now in charge of prom. So not only do you have homecoming week where you're doing all this stuff, you also have to plan prom, plan the themes, plan everything for it. And I was just like, okay, this is going to be a challenge. I need to ensure that the prom looks good and that we have fun. Those are like the two main things. I want it to look good and that everybody has an enjoyable time all around. Now, previous proms, I've kind of been there for them. I went to the one last year in 10th grade because you're not allowed to go unless you're in 11th and 12th. But I was invited by an 11th grader at the time, so I was allowed to go with them. I was like their quote date. Jakara, shout out, love you. Well, I went to the one the previous year, being last year, and it was just, it was cute. Like, they did what they wanted to do. It was a masquerade theme. But it just, you have to be there in the moment, but it was just, did not feel like prom. And I'd say the main reason is because it was in the school. Now, that is very controversial because with whoever you talk to, you're going to get a different answer. I like it in the school. I don't like it in the school. Why does it matter anyway? Well, as long as the food's good. That's me. As long as the food's good, because I'm just a big fatty. But as long as the food is good, Lord, I'm thinking about Taco Bell right now. But the people are so like distraught about where it's going to be. But I went to the one in the school and I was like, okay, next year I want to try my best and hardest for it not to be in the school if I get elected president again. So we ended up actually having it this year after over 25,000 phone calls to every single rental place within a 50-mile radius of here. They were like, you can't do it here. I'm sorry, we only do weddings. Whatever. Blah. We ended up landing at a country club nearby. And I organized the theme. The theme was At Last We See the Light. So the decorations were going to be lanterns, kind of greenery and stuff. Think Tangled, but not actually Tangled because I did not want to do like a Disney theme. We were doing a concept. So that concept was At Last We See the Light. There was going to be the lanterns and just like a very like chill, relaxed, laid back environment. Besides obviously the dancing. So my plan executed very well. I believe that this prom has looked the best out of the past 5 I've seen. They had it at the zoo one time, but that's before the COVID-19 hit, or the, whatever you want to call it, the virus. And it looked pretty, but they said it smelled like zoo, which is understandable. Like, that makes 100%, like, that makes sense. Because you're at the zoo. Of course, it's a cow farm. There's going to be cows outside. Lord. But it was really pretty this year. I'm going to give myself a pat on the back because, like, it was stressful at times. But, my mother helped me so much, love, my mama. And in the end, it was just beautiful. But that was my entire first week of April. Like, daggum. When I tell you, jam-packed back to back to back to back to back, and the only way I'm remembering that week was through photos because I took so many because I just could not help myself just knowing that if I don't take a photo in this instant, I'm going to forget what happened in 3 hours. And I did actually do that. I checked on my phone one time while I was sitting down at this restaurant, the place we ate before prom, and I was like, okay, I know I just drove us here, about an hour drive. But what did I do before I got here? Because I have no idea. And it turns out we just took pictures. Like, we got in our prom outfits and dresses and stuff, and we took pictures. And for some reason, I completely forgot that we had just taken pictures, which I was the chauffeur. I was driving everybody around. All my friends, though, like the people I like, not just some randoms. And in the end, a really fun day and night. We stayed up to about, I'd say, 3 a.m. Just danced it off. And now, don't get me on some just dance now, because you throw me on that, the house is coming down. I'm stomping and I'm shaking and I'm getting every groove and movement I can get into it. But that was that first week of April, and it was quite the hassle. But more recently, I would say it's gotten a little bit more chill. Easter just passed the other last Sunday, or it's like this most recent Sunday. And I had a really good time at Easter. You want to know what my agenda for Easter was? Wake up. Eat. Take a little bit of a nap. Eat. Take another nap. I'm resting myself. This is a rest day, Sunday. After I take my nap, I get up, eat. I had 5 full plates that day. Not breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Not like that. Breakfast came. Lunch came, which included around 3 plates. And supper came, which included about 4 more. I ate so much that day. And I just slept. I did nothing. I ate and I slept. Which in my books, there I go again in the books. I'm going to write that down. In my book, that is life. Eat, sleep, life. I just love it. And I don't know what I'd do without food, because I'm just thinking about it right now. I got things in my room that represent food, and I'm looking at them and I'm just like, I could really go for a chocolate chip cookie right now. But that is completely besides the point, right? Okay, actually, I think that might be what the meaning of life is. I think the meaning of life, when it comes down to it, is food. Life is L-I-F-E. That's how you spell life. Food is F-O-O-D. Now, when we break this down, life has 4 letters in it. L, 1, I, 2, F, 3, E, 4. Now think about this. Food has 4 letters in it. F, 1, O, 2, O, 3, D, 4. Now, if you line that up horizontally, is that the word? No, that's horizontally. Vertically, they line up with each other. They each have a letter for each other. If that does not explain to you that food is the meaning of life, I don't know what else will. I could definitely make a whole Venn diagram about this and how the letters match up with each other and they represent different things. But a quick consensus of this is 4 letters in each word. Each letter can line up with each other and complement each other. And they both have the letter F in it. Oh my goodness. Food is the meaning of life. I'm going to have to put that in my books that I've been talking about. But I don't think too deep into that now. I could go into a rabbit hole about how food is the meaning of life, but I don't want to bore you because I know you probably don't care. But if you ever want to know about that, I will easily sit down and tell you. Also, okay. That's my conclusion on the food of life. The food of life, how food is the meaning of life. But food could be, okay, anyway. Now, I'm looking for a new job. Nothing against my current job. I'm not going to say anything about it right now. It's fun. It's just very fast-paced, 24/7. You are doing something. Now, I applied for CVS. CVS, if you don't know, which you should know CVS, like you living under a rock. It's like a pharmaceutical slash we got everything store, like drugstore if you want to call it that. So they got all your essentials plus a little bit more on the pharmacy side, and then you have like your makeup. They actually have like quite the makeup there for you out there who wear that. And they have your food aisle, their little drinks and stuff. And I just thought, why not work somewhere that is a little bit smaller, but it still has its sections, and it also has the photo printers. I love printing photos, my walls and stuff. I have photos everywhere. I actually like design little posters and stuff because I'm taking a graphic design class, and I get them printed out there. And it's just a very chill environment, quite different to what I'm currently in, which is chaos. But it's organized, but it is still chaos. And I'm just out of breath at the end of each order taken. But I applied and I searched up online, and it said they can actually take up to 3 to 4 weeks for CVS to actually receive, or to the managers to look through your resume and what you submitted. Luckily, I did pass the like virtual online training, which you have to take right after you submit your application. And I thought there was not a pass or fail. Turns out there is a pass or fail, but I ended up passing it because my next step on my application process says under review. So whenever they actually review it, I'll get back from them. But it did say 3 to 4 weeks, which is quite, the time. That's about a month there. And then if you actually end up getting the job, or they text you back, you're going to do interviews. Who knows how many interviews they do? It's 1, 2, 3. And then you got to get in the job, work your hours, get paid. And I don't know if I'm going to be able to last 4 more weeks in my current position because it's quite tiring. Which the upside to it is the way I take off. If I take off, I'm off. Like they're taking me off of that schedule. They are not going to be like, no, you can't take off. I don't know how CVS will be about that. But I'm quite the busy fella here. I do stuff on the daily that's I don't have a set schedule. It changes every day, and I'm very busy, which is the upside about my current job. I don't know about CVS, but I can work around my schedule, which they also said they can work around whatever I got going on, and it's like I can do weekends, I can do weekdays. I'll probably do a little bit both, but if I need weekends needed, then I'll take it off, which they said is possible on the application process. It was telling me. I was reading deep into it because I don't want to lose my current position if I take CVS, if I'm allowed to. I don't want to lose that position that I'm in that's paying decent pay to be put in another place that is actually going to pay more. I'm currently making 12. I believe it's 15 at CVS, which is a lot of money if you really think about it. 15 an hour. I'm 16. Like, that's quite the money. Dadgum. I'm really thinking about it now. That's insane. Lord have mercy. Wow. But the money would be better. I just don't know about the time off. That's not what I'm saying. But they said they'll work with me online. I haven't actually talked to a specific person. I did go in and ask if they were hiring. They said they just had hired somebody, but they're not sure because I was just talking to a girl who was, running the store. And she was like, I don't know, but you can apply on the CVS website. And I was like, you know what? Done, did. Signed my signature, made my resume, submitted. Because, baby, if I'm going to be making 15 an hour, I'm going to be making 15 an hour. Which, if I don't start off at 15, I'm going to advocate for 12 or more because I'm currently making 12 at my job right now, and I'm not going to settle for less. Unless I just really like the job, which I don't think a standard, teenager job, I'm going to, enjoy it, a crap ton, because I'm not going to see myself in that spot 5, 6, 7 years from then. Because I love design. I love doing design. I love advertisements. I love the business world. That's what I want to go into in college. I want to go into business. Now, I haven't really looked super, super deep into business, like what sector specific, category I'd be put into, but I just know the business aspect. I do love the design, the graphic design part. I love the advertisement part, the promoting your product part, but I've looked into being a graphic designer, and a lot of it is freelancing, which means I'll be on my own, making my own money, and that is not like reliable. It's not a reliable source of income, which I'd much rather have a job where I enjoy it, but it's a reliable source of income. I get whatever. But I don't really know where my life is headed. I don't know what I'm doing. I have colleges I would like to go to, but I'm not sure which college I'm going to end up going to. Right now, my top two are Auburn or Alabama, and that's because they're kind of like, they're known schools. They're known for getting you your degree, being pretty decent with their classes. You have good track records. I really want to go to Auburn. That's my first pick right there. But problem right there is scholarship money. Yes, we have money. No, I'm not going to take out a student loan if I don't have to. That makes sense. If I end up going to Auburn, I don't have the money for it. I'll go to a community college first, and then Auburn. That's like going to be my best bet. But I'm currently taking classes right now, which are dual enrolled. So I'm taking college classes in high school, getting the credit for that. So I'm very likely to not have to go to a community college for 2 years, possibly just one. But I do have a good chance, again, this scholarship at Alabama, which, praying, fingers crossed, that it will allow me to go for free, basically. Now, I'm in that criteria with income where the threshold's down here for receiving money from the government, and then the threshold's up here for getting it all paid for no matter what. I'm kind of in that middle right there. You know what I mean? We got money. We are good. We are living. We are thriving. But I'm not nobody that can just pay for my tuition straight up, or not the person to like want to take out these thousands of dollars in student loans that heck I ain't gonna pay back till I'm 50. Like, that's the last thing I want to do is keep paying money for college when I'm 50. Like, dead gum. But going back to like what I want to do, the business aspect, I love it. I'm just afraid that that's going to come with me having to move somewhere that is more, in the known, up to date, because that's going to be one of your bigger cities. And then also, I don't know if I'm going to have to be moving out of Alabama. And I've talked to my parents before, and my dad probably, he doesn't like necessarily, he wants me to do what I want to do. But my mom, she wants me to like stay close. Now, I'll be staying close. I've always wanted to stay close, but I don't know what my job is going to make me do. But it would be fun having a place somewhere like in Alabama, but also going on flights, doing like, quote, tours for my business. So like, or my work. So like, I'll be at this spot one week. I'll be at this spot another week. Or I'm like taking a quick trip to wherever. You know what I mean? But I'm thinking too much about this, and I'm still 16 trying to get my grade in Access Spanish above a 90. Because, baby, I'm trying to make them straight A's. Them GPA right there, that GPA is going to be lovely. Or at least I'm attempting it to be lovely. It is good right now. I'm taking what I have right now, and I'm running with it. But I hope I don't trip and fall when I'm running and splatter that GPA bag everywhere, and then get squished and stomped on and rained on. Next thing I know, I'm flipping burgers for the rest of my life, which is not a bad thing. I love the small business owners owning their little burger flipping joints. But personally, for me, I'm not the one. And they can probably make more money than I could. So, all kudos to them. This, it's just it's just interesting not knowing where my life is taking me. but knowing I have a path built in my head for myself, which it always changes, always does. But having kind of a direction towards what you want to do is really good. Makes you feel more secure in yourself, because I feel a lot more confident in my future having a plan instead of me being like, oh, I have no idea what's going to happen, which technically I don't know what's going to happen. But like I said, having that kind of bullet point journey is really good, because you can set that goal and your other goal's over here. You're starting at this goal. You got this goal right here. And who knows where that path's going to be. You can be up, down, left, right, zigzag, zigzag. But you're going to get to that goal eventually. And the part in the middle is where you grow and learn. So, what the heck am I talking about? Words of wisdom up in here. Who am I? Oh, who are you? I'm your grandmother. But those are like just my words of wisdom. I don't even remember if I finished talking about anything previously. I guess you can call it ADHD, not diagnosed, so let me not do that. But it's been an April, and it's just supposed to get better from here, right? About to go into 11th grade summer, so about to get out of 11th grade, go into summer, and then that means I'm a senior. Like, that's a crazy position if you really think about it. And I'm still so young, but in the wide perspective of things, like, a senior's pretty aged. Like, you're getting up in there in years. I'm still below 20, but those are your older teens, and you got to make the best of those, because you don't know what's going to happen in life and what's going to follow. And forever, I've always been like, I've always in my brain been like, okay, I can't wait to get older. I can't wait to live on my own, do this stuff, do that stuff, whatever. But you got to enjoy the moment. That is the most, I think, taught thing out there. Enjoy the moment, but it's the truth. Instead of wishing you were somewhere else, wherever you're at right now, try to find contentness in it. And if you're in a bad situation, find a way for your future to make your situation better. That's all I can say for you. But it's been a good talk. I don't really know how long I've been talking for. I forget that I talk so much when it comes down to it. But, it's just me right here. It's just Dax. So I hope y'all have a great day, night, morning, whenever you're listening to this. If you're listening to this, and if you're not and you find me in the future, hey, my name is Dax, and this is just Dax. Bye.